Have you ever looked at your favorite sports team and thought, man, we have the talent, we have the coach, why can't we just win a championship? What if I told you the answer isn't on the court, or the field, or the ice? What if I told you the only thing keeping your team from holding up a trophy is their zip code? Today, we are exposing the home field advantage myth. Now, don't click away. I'm not saying home field advantage doesn't exist. It absolutely does. But how we understand it is completely, fundamentally broken. Home field advantage isn't just about having your fans cheering for you. It's actually a regional advantage. Where your team is located dictates exactly how big of a boost they get. By the end of this video, you are going to see exactly why a championship caliber team in a warm southern city might just be a victim of geography, and why the cold, brutal north is hoarding all the trophies. Let's dive into the data. Before we talk about regions, we need to understand the baseline. Across professional sports, home field advantage varies wildly based on the nature of the game, travel, and the schedule. Historically, the NBA maintains the absolute highest home win rate among the traditional Big Four sports, sitting at an all-time average of around 62.7%. Why? A massive part of this is attributed to the grueling frequency of back-to-back games, where the away team is often playing on exhausted legs compared to the home team. When it comes to the NHL, hockey teams hold a very reliable edge, winning approximately 59% of the time at home. A huge contributor to this is the rulebook itself. Home coaches are granted the last change before face-offs, allowing them to perfectly match their best defenders against the visiting team's stars. The NFL is a little different. Historically, Vegas odds makers gave NFL home teams an automatic 3-point advantage. While the all-time home win rate sits at a solid 57.6%, that traditional 3-point bump has proven to be a bit of an inflated myth in recent years, with the modern advantage dropping much closer to 1.5 points. And lastly, the MLB has always had the lowest advantage in American sports. Because of the endless 162-game schedule and the unpredictable nature of pitching, baseball has a massive amount of randomness baked right in. Even the greatest teams expect to lose at home frequently, which is why the historical MLB home win average hovers at a meager 54.1%. But these are just averages, and averages lie, because a home game in Miami is not the same as a home game in Green Bay. Whenever you bring up geography in sports, everyone instantly points to two places, Denver and Utah. And look, the data absolutely backs them up. When we look at the advantage bump, which is the difference between how much a team wins at home versus how much they win on the road, Denver and Salt Lake City are in a league of their own. Denver gives its combined major sports teams a massive plus 16.3% bump in win rate at home. The Denver Nuggets have historically won around 68% of their games at home, and their win rate dropped by nearly 27% when they went on the road. Salt Lake City isn't far behind, giving their teams a plus 15.6% bump. Why? It's the altitude. It is a permanent physical advantage that literally alters the physiological condition of visiting athletes. Opponents step off the plane and immediately feel different. In addition to that, they statistically gas out in the fourth quarter. But here is where the mainstream sports media gets it wrong. They stop at Denver and Utah. They act like elevation is the only geographical advantage. But if you look at the rest of the cities with the best home field bumps, a glaring pattern emerges. Let's dive into some other cities where the home field bump has been historically massive. Green Bay, Wisconsin has the third highest home field bump at plus 12.5%. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania sits at number 4 with a plus 12.3% bump. Minneapolis, Minnesota has the 7th highest at plus 10.3%. And Boston, Massachusetts comes in 8th with a plus 9.7% bump. Notice a trend? Almost every city with an elite home field advantage is located in the north, specifically in cold weather environments. And the data proves this cold weather correlation is real. In the NFL, cold weather teams, meaning outdoor stadiums situated above the 39th parallel north, gain a statistically significant win rate boost in the winter. Between 2002 and 2025, When these cold weather teams played at home in December, January, and February, they won roughly 61.7% of their games. That absolutely crushes the league-wide home average of 56.8%. But why does this happen? It's basic human psychology and acclimation. When a team from a warm city travels to a freezing, miserable environment like Green Bay or Buffalo in January, what do? They stay in their hotel. They don't go outside. They don't get acclimated to the biting wind or the freezing temperatures. They step off the bus, stiff and out of their element, and they get punched in the mouth by a team that practices in the snow every single day. Now, let's flip the script. Let's look at the teams with the absolute worst home field advantage bumps. These are cities where playing at home provides almost zero statistical benefit compared to playing on the road. Miami is historically the worst, with a tiny plus 4.4% bump. Phoenix is tied for worst at plus 4.4%. Charlotte is fourth worst, with a plus 5.4% bump. Los Angeles is fifth at plus 6.1%. And Tampa is the sixth worst, with a plus 6.1% bump. What do almost all of these cities have in common? They are in the South, or they are warm weather destination cities. Why is their home field advantage so pathetic? For one, the crowds. Cities like Miami, Phoenix, and Tampa are flooded with snowbirds, retirees, and tourists who grew up cheering for other teams. When a northern team comes to town, half the stadium is filled with away fans. But more importantly, think about the acclimation factor we just talked about. When a team from freezing Boston or Chicago travels to Miami or Phoenix in January, they want to go outside. They walk around, they soak up the sun, their muscles get loose, and they feel great. They easily acclimate to the warm weather. It's essentially a vacation. It is incredibly easy to step into a warm, pleasant city and play your best game. It is nearly impossible to do that in a blizzard. So, how does this impact your favorite team? It's all about the snowball effect of a regular season. Throughout a long season, you play a ton of home games and a ton of away games. If your team plays in a cold, northern city, you are going to win more of those 50-50 toss-up games at home simply because of your regional advantage bump. Over an 82-game NBA season or a 17-game NFL season, that plus 12% bump versus a plus 4% bump is the difference between finishing as the number 1 seed or the number 3 seed. And what happens when you get the number 1 seed? You get easier playoff matchups, and you force Southern teams to come play you in your freezing, hostile environment when the stakes are highest. Let's look at the cities with the most total championships across the 4 major sports. New York City is first with 50 titles. Boston is second with 40 titles. Montreal is fourth with 26. And lastly, Chicago is fifth with 19. They are all northern or cold weather cities. Now look at the cities starving for a championship. Jacksonville, 0 titles in franchise history. Charlotte, 0 titles for the Panthers and Hornets. Phoenix, only 1 title ever. San Diego, only 1 pre-Super Bowl AFL title. This is why I say your team might be good enough to win a championship, but they are just in the wrong location. A playoff team in a warm city might easily be a championship-winning team if they were transplanted to a cold city, because that regional home field advantage makes up the difference. Let's look at a prime example. The recent NBA Finals matchup between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns. The Bucks reside in a cold, northern, working-class city. The Suns reside in a warm, transient, transplant city. The Suns' supposed home court advantage only gives them a measly historical plus 4.4% bump across their city's sports. When the pressure was on, Phoenix's environment wasn't enough of a fortress to stop a rugged team from a cold city. You have to wonder, is Phoenix's lack of a real regional home field advantage the very thing holding a great roster back from a ring? Home field advantage isn't a myth, but we have to stop pretending it's distributed equally. It is a regional weapon. The cold weather, the hostile environments, the altitude, these factors physically and psychologically break opponents down in a way that sunshine and palm trees simply do not. So the next time your warm weather team falls short in the playoffs, don't just blame the coach or the star player. Blame the zip code. What do you guys think? Does your favorite team benefit from a regional advantage, or are they cursed by beautiful weather? This is ASED. Like, comment, and subscribe, and have a great day.